Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Wonder Ray.
Of course.
Wonder Ray, the amazing Ray Skywalker. Spoiler! Spoiler.
Everybody knows by now.
Ray Skywalker, plot twist. And we're going to talk about how Ray is basically a better Jedi Master than Luke Skywalker.
Right.
Because Ray's better
because
at
she's a woman.
everything. Because she's a woman?
Because she's a Mary Sue and she just literally earned nothing and walks away with everything. So that clearly makes her so much better suited.
So we're going to talk about that. This is an article from Screen Rant talking about how Rey is going to succeed in reviving the Jedi where Luke failed. Luke only failed because they made him fail.
That's right.
In The Last Jedi.
As far as everybody knew when it ended, and according to the expanded universe, Luke succeeded. He only failed when Disney decided to retcon everything. Yeah,
so thank you for that, Disney. Thank you for that retcon so you can get your own character in there, your Disney-owned, free and clear Rey, nameless turned Skywalker Rey, Palpatine, whatever the hell you want to call her. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other stuff going on with the Rise of Skywalker and how, this is just more indication of the utter failure. The utter failure of this sequel trilogy.
And the PR spin around it.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So before we get into it, we're over 92,000 subs, hoping for 100,000 soon. Thank you so much for that. And we're hoping to get to 100,000 within the next month or two. Get excited.
I'm trying. I'm so tired. I'm sorry, guys. We had so much crammed into like 3 days, and I still have not had time to recover from it. So I'm just downright tired.
Yeah, it was a very draining couple of days. So let's talk about this. Comes from Screen Rant. Rey will succeed in reviving the Jedi where Luke failed. He failed. He's a failure of a man.
In case you didn't gather that already from the movies, they didn't push that home already.
Yeah, we're going to keep, people are going to keep talking about this for years until everybody just forgets that this trilogy existed.
Basically what's going to happen is all these people who have been white knighting for Star Wars the entire time are going to continue to do so.
Yeah. Rey has certain advantages that make her a better candidate.
I know what they are. She's a woman. She's got boobs. That automatically makes her better because she's a woman. She doesn't have to do anything. Everything can just be handed to her and she earns nothing. But the fact that she's a woman makes her a better candidate.
Yeah, so they said that Luke's redeeming quality, I'm not going to read the entire article.
Please don't.
Luke's redeeming quality is that he was able to guide Rey.
That's what, whoa. That's what makes Luke special is because he could guide Rey.
Yeah, because here, Luke ultimately rose to the occasion when all hope seemed lost in The Last Jedi, but his journey from beginning to end was by no means without devastating hardship. On the other hand, Rey's experience from scavenging on Jakku to battling the Emperor on Exegol successfully set her up to pioneer a new age of Jedi.
Oh, you mean her Mary Sueism?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, because everything was handed to her. She had no challenges. She was the chosen one just because. Her Mary Sueism is what, where Luke had struggles and he had problems. And it wasn't a smooth ride, so he could not lead because he had to face struggles. Well, she just walked in and handled everything like a breeze. Dude, that means she's a Mary Sue.
Yeah, so
which is what everybody keeps saying.
Without Luke, so Luke is somewhat useful as a plot device. Without Luke, Rey might have never had the guidance she needed to ultimately represent the spark of hope. The Resistance needed the triumph over the First Order, but without Rey, the future of the Jedi might never stood as strong a chance at sustaining themselves for generations to come.
Without Luke, but without Obi-Wan and Yoda, Luke might never have had the guidance that he needed to ultimately represent the spark of hope that the rebellion needed to triumph over the Emperor and the Empire. And without Obi-Wan and Yoda, the future of the Jedi, and Luke, the future of the Jedi may never have stood a strong chance and sustain themselves for generations to come. You could literally swap it out, and it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. So Rey's intentions mirror Luke's, but for the better.
Which intentions? Luke's intentions that were before Disney ruined it, or the Disney Luke intentions, which basically were he's a shitty old man who's bitter against the world.
Basically, they argue that Luke and Rey's journeys are similar, but Rey had better intentions.
Rey has boobs, so she automatically gets better intentions. I'm sorry, I'm a woman. I can say that.
Yeah, so Rey's journey was built on a very different foundation, whereas Luke's journey was internal, hers was external.
What journey? She didn't do anything.
When Rey inadvertently embarked on her path to become a Jedi, she wasn't seeking independence, but unity. She didn't have the luxury of family, so her perspective and what she considered to be fulfilling differed dramatically from Luke's.
Luke's family was his Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, who kind of, and he had to work his ass off all the time. That was the point. It wasn't like, oh, he had a family and it was cushy and smooth. He didn't even know he had, that he had family alive outside of that.
Oh my God. So because she craved family, her arc allowed her to find her chosen family, become one part of a whole, take ownership of her path, and ultimately carve out her own destiny.
This is a load of crap. This is like, you know what this is? This is, I can say, one word sums up the mentality behind this. Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving?
Yes, the whole, you choose your family and your friends, and you need to celebrate, because all of those toxic people around you who don't agree with you politically or don't agree with what your choices are, you choose your circle and your family becomes who you choose, and you have Friendsgiving instead of Thanksgiving. Friendsgiving sums up this entire mentality from this article.
I was thinking clickbait, but
well,
okay.
clickbait too, but Friendsgiving. This whole, you choose your family, and you can choose who become your family, like she did. This whole mentality is a certain group of people, and I would, the one word I can come up with my head that describes them is Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving.
So she hopes her family would come back to her, but it never happens. Well, Luke doesn't know he has any other family.
Yeah, Luke finds out he's got family, and oh my God, he doesn't want that family.
No.
But then she finds out that she's got even worse relatives.
But somehow she's still better, because she stole the Skywalker name.
Yeah, Skywalkers are too temperamental. Palpatines have a proven track record.
Mm-hmm. That's their argument.
So, okay, I thought a lot of the people that work for these blogs were very, anti-Trump. That's like saying Donald Trump has a proven track record. So, it's okay.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to go down that route, because they're always making those comparisons.
If you want to change your name from whatever your current name is to Trump because he has a proven track record. Business, you can do that.
Right, you can do that.
I mean,
so this is insane. It's fair to say that Sith are objective. That's not to say Palpatine didn't know what he was doing. He may have lost in the end, but as early as The Phantom Menace, Palpatine proved to be successful at rallying people to his cause. So, because he was an evil dictator, that makes Rey a good candidate because she's related to him.
Because she's the evil dictator granddaughter.
So, couldn't you argue that because Rey is descended from a Palpatine, there's a very good chance that the Jedi could be destroyed forever because she might become true to her nature at some point and say, yeah, the Jedi are kind of pussies. Let's go all Sith.
Yeah.
Let's go Sith. We don't know what happens after she becomes a Skywalker, takes a Skywalker name. She might go to the dark side. She might say, Granddad had the right idea. He didn't do it right.
And this whole article is kind of pointless anyway, because Disney's not planning on doing anything else with it. And they've already said that Daisy Ridley's not coming back and all that. So this whole article has no point anyway.
His goals were malicious, but his follow-through was admirable.
That's the reason for why Rey is better suited to lead the Jedi, because her grandpa, who was a dictator, had follow-through.
There are some other people in history who have odd little mustaches who you could actually say the same thing about. That they were malicious goals, but you have to admire their moxie.
Yeah, that's their article.
You have to admire their moxie.
She should be the leader because her grandpa was Palpy, and he was an asshole malicious. He had a lot of go-to gusto. So she obviously is better suited than Luke, who obviously had no gusto whatsoever.
He had gumption. He had grit. He massacred a lot of people. She's clearly better suited for the job. So the Skywalkers were easy to foil. Over the course of 9 films, their emotions proved to be their own worst enemy.
You mean their humanity?
Yeah, their humanity. And worst of all, this emotional handicap passed down from generation to generation. So, yeah, because the Skywalkers actually felt guilt and anger and remorse, unlike the Palpatines.
It had actual redeeming... It had qualities that would actually give them character in a story.
So how do we know that her circle of friends, how do we know that she's just not manipulating them? Because Palpatine, he was a pretty nice guy in the first couple of movies.
Yeah, if you didn't know what happened to him, if you hadn't watched the original trilogy first, and you were just starting out with the prequels, you might think that he was a good guy and he wasn't going to turn.
Yeah. Anakin didn't see it coming.
I can't. This is hilarious.
This is just
this is amusing me far more than it should.
So yeah, Anakin's path to defeating the Sith ultimately crumbles on account of his inability to practice self-control, and the same disadvantage ends up applying to his son Luke. Throwing
temper tantrums. Oh wait, let's talk about not being able to control yourself. Nancy Pelosi.
Oh,
I'm just saying,
she's a Skywalker.
I'm just saying, I'm watching a lot of people not be able to control themselves in politics right now. And apparently, if that's supposed to be a shortcoming, why isn't anybody mentioning it?
So, she has the best of... This is where we really come off. She essentially has the best of both worlds when it comes to reviving the Jedi. She has the wisdom and virtue of the Skywalkers, but the command and tenacity of the Palpatines. Actually...
She has no virtue and wisdom. You just got done saying that they didn't have virtue and wisdom. They were too emotional. And she's not a Skywalker.
She's not a Skywalker. She's a fake Skywalker. Rey literally represents the balance of the Force. So I'm waiting for the comic book or the tie-in novel you have to buy that explains that Rey is actually the chosen one.
Yeah, because
100% certainty.
From the beginning, it was, Anakin was the one who was supposed to be balance of the Force. They made that abundantly clear. Repeatedly, but what's going on is Disney needed their own character because, we can't just go with what's already there and what works. Oh no, we have to piss all over it and make it Mickey-fied we have to I'm gonna say Mickey-fied and say something else, to make sure that they have the characters theirs. Because they're Disney. They're expert storytellers.
Yeah.
So this is like Tron to me. Anyway.
It does look like, this is like, and this is the problem. The thing is all the things that they're saying, why Rey should be the chosen one, why she's better than Luke, is the fundamental problem with this entire trilogy.
Exactly.
That completely undermines the story that George Lucas wanted to tell. They literally threw it in the garbage can. His ending, and decided to write their own ending, which introduces all these new characters.
Not just the ending, they threw the entire saga in the trash can for these 3 movies, and now undid everything just so their characters could be the ones with whatever power or whatever. Oh, and they got stupid broomstick kid.
Oh my god, freaking broom kid.
Because everybody can be a Jedi.
Everybody can be a Jedi.
If you look in the mirror and tell yourself, if I believe hard enough, I'm enough. And I could be a Jedi, and we all could be a Jedi, and here's a participation trophy for you, and here's one for you, and then, you get one too over here, and here's one for you.
If you pay $200 at Galaxy's Edge, you can be a Jedi too.
That's right.
Swig enough of that $8 disgusting cat pee flavored green milk.
Some people like it, and that's okay. You can like it. To us, it tasted like nasty things. Anyway.
Cleaning supplies. Rey can make a truly new and different Jedi Order. See, the problem is that but wait a second. We're arguing that genetics don't play a role in becoming a Jedi, but then she's genetically a Palpatine.
And she's genetically superior because she's a Palpatine. I wish they really pick a side here in their argument.
The Sith have fallen. The Emperor is dead, and there's no other equivalent to Kylo Ren standing in her way. You know what? That was where we left things at the end of Return of the Jedi. The Emperor was dead. Vader was dead. There were no Sith. There were no other Jedi except for Luke.
There was nothing to stand in his way except for Disney.
Right? We had a clean slate. That was the purpose. The Force was balanced. Luke was gonna build a new Jedi Order.
It was balanced. Balance. See, Luke brought balance. Well, Anakin and Luke brought balance to the Force, and then they had to unbalance the Force to bring in Rey, so she could rebalance it and do it without and her Mary Sue ways.
Oh my god, so now Rey gets it faster than Luke got it. Rey can also use history to her advantage. She's seen what works and what doesn't. She's seen the effect that certain decisions have
I can't even read any more of this.
On even the most skilled and respected leaders. Luke had reached certain necessary epiphanies when it came to figuring out the best course of action to take in establishing a future for the Jedi, but was well into the twilight years of his life, and he exiled himself by the time it registered. He understood that replicating the ways of the old wasn't sustainable, and he understood the necessity of balance, but his ultimate role is to pass the torch.
But you know what's funny? You know what's really funny to me? This was all done already in the expanded universe.
Yeah.
Luke got it. He was passing the torch. Stuff was going down. He did not turn into a bitter old asshat living in as a hermit, sucking whatever nasty milk he could find. That was not what he was. If you read the books, which clearly this person has not, it was completely opposite of what we got. And now they're like, well, because their justification for their whole argument is because what Disney did. But what Disney did was not what Star Wars was. So Disney's last 3 movies are supposed to trump the entire other 2/3 of the saga because Disney undid it now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their argument.
Yeah, because we had to start the conflict up again because we had to have TIE fighters and stormtroopers and lightsabers to sell toys.
Here's my argument. Everything you've said about Rey was applicable to Luke, but Disney undid it and just so they could have her redo it. That's my argument.
So Luke's great, according to this argument, and this is the problem with the sequel trilogy, Luke's greatest accomplishment was basically to get out of the way and let Rey take over because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. Mm-hmm. And if Rey is Space Jesus now, then Luke was basically John the Baptist, preparing the way for Rey.
Right.
And his whole purpose was to prepare the way for Rey.
But Rey's whole purpose, if we're going to be completely honest, was because Disney decided they wanted that they had to be woke and had to put a female in. I mean, I think people would have loved it much more if it had been Finn that had been the Jedi. But no, we have to go. And of course, because if you're a woman, that automatically trumps everything, in case you haven't figured that out with Hollywood right now. And the Force is female, and they had to undo everything to put Rey in it so it could all be handed to her. That was Disney's priority, and that's what Disney did. At the end of the day, they undid everything, made a Mary Sue character, and handed her everything, and says now she's the chosen one, she's the real one, because she's our character. We own her free and clear.
So maybe the purpose of this article, I'm not quite understanding.
Besides looking dumb,
I'm not quite understanding the author's point, but it might have actually
contradicts his point.
Well, I'm saying maybe this is to point out just how flawed the sequel trilogy actually is.
No, that's not his point.
How unnecessary. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. How unnecessary the sequel trilogy is. It actually does more to prove why the sequel trilogy doesn't need to exist, because it was a tacked on ending. We already had the ending. We had the balance. The conflict was over. We had the chosen one. Everything was cool. And you tacked on an ending and reintroduced the same conflict.
They didn't tack on an ending. They undid it to tack on a new character as the chosen one, because she was the Disney chosen one. They just basically knocked the statue over to put their own statue up. That's basically all they did.
They rewrote history
just
to make more money. Make more money and make sure that the Disney version of Star Wars had the final say. Mm-hmm. And
that's basically what they did. Yeah. It's just because they wanted to make sure that they had a character that was their character. That's what the whole thing was.
And you know what? Audiences don't give a shit. The movie's declined movie after movie, year after year. It's gotten so bad, we did another video that they're not even going to do movies for a while. They don't know what they're going to do, and whoever...
They're going to focus on Disney+.
Yeah, and Kevin Feige might be the guy who does the next Star Wars movie whenever that happens. It might be a while.
Because Kevin Feige's still tied up with Marvel.
Yeah, so for Rey being this huge success, audiences didn't feel it. Personally, I think they should decanonize.
The toys didn't sell.
Toys didn't sell. They've managed to kill Star Wars. They've managed to kill Star Wars off. The prequels couldn't even kill Star Wars off.
The only reason The Mandalorian did so well is because it felt like old Star Wars.
Yeah, because...
that's what it was.
Yeah, and they didn't feel the need to piss on legacy characters.
No, and they had an actual strong female character, well, a couple of strong female characters in there that weren't there solely to put men in their place. Yeah. They were there because they were actual characters with an actual story and actually could, hold their own, and it wasn't because they just had the good characters that happened to be female. It wasn't because they were female first. The Force is female. It was because, I would have watched the hell out of a Finn movie where he got made a Jedi, because his story was much more interesting.
Finn's story, yeah, and that was a huge bait and switch. I mean, they advertised Finn, again, go back to this, they advertised him as a lead in the trailers, and then you followed Finn for the first half hour, 45 minutes of the movie, and then as soon as Rey shows up, Finn gets backburnered. Mm-hmm.
I think if they had even done that, even if they wanted to use Rey so bad, have Rey and Finn be there training with Luke.
Yeah, why?
And they could have done something, and Leia could have been there too. They could have totally done something with this, but they didn't. Instead, they kill off Han, they kill Luke, and then Carrie Fisher passed away, so they didn't have her in the last one.
Just a matter. Audiences are over it. They're over it. They've spoken with their wallets. The money's not there like it used to be for Star Wars. The toys are not selling. Once the novelty wears off on Galaxy's Edge, nobody's going to give a crap, especially because it's based on the sequel trilogy that is not going to stand the test of time, for sure.
Well, they're too busy just retconning everything with their Galaxies of Adventures, where now Leia supposedly took charge of all the stuff she never did, and they're retconning the movies, and they're retconning the expanded universe, and now they're retconning everything, explaining everything in comics. It's like... It's so convoluted and full of shit, no one cares. I'm sorry for swearing. I'm just so sick of it. I still love the original trilogy. I do. But the rest of it, don't really care.
Yeah, this is not how the story ends. This is it feels like Star Wars was hijacked.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it ended with episode 6.
Yeah, same here. So we're gonna wrap this up. Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.